Support for Steppin Out comes in part from the Kristovich family in honor of Mary Lou and Bill Kristovich. This program is sponsored in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support the arts and culture in the greater New Orleans area.
I'm Peggy Scott LaBorde, and welcome to Steppin Out, with updates from the local restaurant, arts, and entertainment scenes. Joining me, Poppy Tooker, host of Louisiana Eats on WWNO Radio. Hey, Miss Poppy. Hey. Ian McNulty, food writer for the Times-Picayune, New Orleans Advocate. Hey, Ian. Hello. Hi. Doug McCash, who covers the arts and culture scenes, also for the Times-Picayune, New Orleans Advocate. Hello. And Alan Smason of TheaterCriticism.com and the Crescent City Jewish News. Hi, Alan. Okay. And Poppy, I understand there's still a chance to make reservations for Thanksgiving at a pair of uptown restaurants. Ha, yay.
There's reservations around and about, because, you know, next Thursday is the big turkey day, and I was really happy to hear there were still reservations available at Jack Rose and Tin Roof, of course, at the Pontchartrain Hotel. Now, this is a lovely Thanksgiving meal. It's 4 courses. It ranges in price from $62 to $69, and it's got really yummy things like duck gumbo and butternut squash bisque. And there's turkey, of course, but you can also have rack of lamb if you'd like. And, of course, along with the other desserts, you can end the whole affair with mile-high pie. But what I want to point out is that it's dining also at the Tin Roof. So not just the beautiful Jack Rose dining room and, of course, that little outdoor seating area, but the Tin Roof. I don't know that there's ever been an opportunity to have rooftop Thanksgiving dining before, so you might want to check that out. And then,
sounds great.
Doesn't that sound like
does.
fun? Also, 3 of the Creole Concepts restaurants have lots of reservations available, and they've got some really great bargains. You can eat at Broussard's for just $45 for 3 courses, and also Le Bayou on Bourbon Street or Tommy's for just $19 at Tommy's Thanksgiving dinner. And their annual toy drive is on through December the 15th. You bring a new unwrapped toy for a child anywhere between 1 and 12 years old, and you get a free dessert at any of their nearly 24 restaurants. Or check this out, bring a toy to Daiquiri Paradise, and you can get 2 for 1 daiquiris. So toys for daiquiris, only in New Orleans, huh, Peggy?
And you know, this time of the year, I don't drink too many daiquiris, but those frozen daiquiris, the eggnog ones with the whiskey,
That'll put you in the holiday spirit.
Yes, I have to have one of those at least once, one time. Anyway, thank you so much, Poppy.
Thank you.
Moving over to Ian and talk about, I so hate to utter these words, end of an era, huh?
Well, Peggy, you're right. We've been talking for months about the dire odds that are facing our restaurants, and you know it's taken its toll through this crisis. One of the latest losses that we're seeing is Little Dizzy's Cafe in Treme. This is a restaurant that's been around for quite some time in Treme and Esplanade Avenue. But to your point, the end of an era, its legacy reaches much further back into New Orleans history with the Baquet family. Little Dizzy's is the latest restaurant from the Baquet family. It was run since just before Hurricane Katrina by Wayne Baquet. You see him here in the restaurant. It's quite a popular place. You know, it draws everybody from tourists who'd heard about it, people who may have seen it on TV, to neighborhood regulars, to people from across town. And that legacy I mentioned, it goes all the way back really to the 1940s, the restaurant called Paul Gross Chicken Coop, which was one of the first Black-owned restaurants in New Orleans back in the 1940s. Think about that era. And this family continued through with Eddie's. We just saw Wayne's late father Eddie outside of Eddie's, Law Street, a place that really put them on the map for great Creole food and inspired this whole slew of restaurants that would follow all around town. You talk to New Orleans people, they'll start listing the Baquet restaurants that they went to, whether it was out in the east at the Lake Plaza, it was in the Krause building, there was Zachary's on Oak Street. There were a lot. There's Wayne ran through about 7 of them with me that he's operated through the years. They all carry forth that great, as Wayne Baquet himself would say, that 7th Ward Creole flavor. The cooking of the families. Well,
so the building is for
we've
sale?
reached this juncture.
Okay.
Pardon me?
I was going to say, is the restaurant for sale, or what do you think might happen? Any speculation, or?
We've reached this juncture because Wayne at 73 does not want to take the risk of reopening, the health risk for him and his family, with the pandemic still raging. And at this point, he said he is not reopening the restaurant, that he's out, and the restaurant is for sale. Somebody could possibly reopen it with the name and carry it on. But for right now, talking to Mr. Wayne, it is indeed the end of an era for his run in restaurants that, as we tracked, goes back quite some time.
Okay, thank you so much, Ian. And moving over to Doug, something that really can make you smile. Some really creative folks got together with a rather unique, shall we say, idea.
It did indeed. If there's a silver lining at all to the COVID contagion and all, it's that it has brought out the creativity in some artists. And if you were driving around town over the last couple of weeks, you might have run into a minivan, a very memorable minivan called the Reality Breaker. This began as what was supposed to be a children's puppet project. 2 brothers, twin brothers from Puerto Rico, Efrain and Pablo Del Hierro, were planning to come to town to present, as I said, a children's puppet show. Well, that was impossible under the circumstances, so what they did was invested in a $500 2006 Toyota Sienna and made it into a rolling puppet show with no interaction with the crowd, but put a lot of smiles on faces across New Orleans.
Now you have a bit of a video. Set that up for us.
Yeah, take a look. This was on Esplanade Avenue. I chased them through the French Quarter trying to catch up, and finally found them on Esplanade Avenue. What was funny was a young woman on a bicycle pulled over as they passed. Her name was Jackie White, and it turned out that she was a behavioral analyst. And if there was ever a time to be accompanied by a behavioral analyst, this was it.
Let's take a look.
No, we were bike riding and we just saw it and we were like, "Skrrr!"
What did you think it was going by?
Just, I don't even know, like a monster truck.
It's perfect. Oh, I like that
But they
too.
had like the guy on the top, like just doing something with his legs. It's so cool. I thought it was super fun. What else do you do in 2020 right now during COVID?
There you go.
Like create something fun for everybody to see.
Did you see the big eyeballs?
Yeah, and the dancing chickens on the front. That was so
That was my
fun. I think they were trying to spread a lot of joy to people.
I
That's what
think
they
you're
were
right.
saying.
All right.
Doug, that's wonderful.
Isn't that
How
great?
can we find out more information about them?
Well, the Del Hierro brothers were joined by some New Orleans artists. Jessica Beiser is a wonderful painter, and the Milagro Collective. So if you go online and search for the Milagro Collective, you will be able to get in touch with the people behind the Reality Breaker.
Okay, I love the title too. Thank you so much. Nice video. And moving over to Alan, news about Le Petit.
Yes. Well, early in the beginning of the pandemic, Peggy, Maxwell Williams and his managing director, Don Scott Cooper, tried to move from essentially what was and into a backup plan B. that backup plan B became backup plan C, D, E, F. I think they're working on plan M or N right now, and there appears to be no end to this pandemic. But you know what? Despite that, they're still working on finalizing next year's season. Now, they're going to make an announcement on that towards the beginning of next year. They're going to use social distancing and smaller productions of just one or a few actors on stage. And while the announcement won't really occur, as I said, until the beginning of 2021, they have been working on some projects for the upcoming month of December. And listen to this, they have a touring stage. That's right, the Lafitte touring stage will be making scheduled appearances in New Orleans and on the North Shore. So the site of the first week in December will still be firmed up. They haven't told us exactly where it's going to be, but it will be in New Orleans. Then that's the week of December the 4th through the 6th. And then they're going to journey across the lake to the area of Abita Springs, right next to the Brew Pub, if you know where that is. And they're going to have a performance there. That's the weekend of December 10th through the 13th. And finally, just before Christmas, they're going to be returning with the Le Petit touring stage into the area that's adjacent to the Bucktown Marina. And they're going to be performing there December 17th through the 20th. So fantastic news. We're going to have more news on Le Petit for next week's show regarding even more events coming up in December. But meanwhile, I wanted to kind of get some of our Broadway fans up to date as to what's going to be going on, because everybody knows every year the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, they always feature a lot of Broadway performers. Well, there are going to be some substantial changes in the broadcast this year. On Thanksgiving morning, normally you'd see floats going by with the performers on stage, and on the floats, of course, singing or performing perhaps at Herald Square right in front of the Macy's 34th Street flagship store. But this year, 4 musicals are having selections that will be filmed at the theaters, and they are going to basically be presenting that from the theaters. They'll be pre-filmed. They're not going to be live, but they will be shown. So you'll be able to see, first of all, from the St. James, the cast of Hamilton. And then, of course, you'll see from the Broadhurst, it's going to be the Alanis Morissette musical, Jagged Little Pill, which is nominated for Tonys. And then next up from the Imperial Theater, we'll see the cast of Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations. And then finally, Peggy, the August Wilson Theater is the site for Mean Girls, and they'll be doing their mean thing on stage. So we'll see all that on Thanksgiving Day.
I watched that on NBC from fore to aft, okay? And especially for the Broadway shows. So thanks for that tip. Glad to know something will be happening there. Thank you so much, Alan. And moving back over to Poppy, I do recall going to the Siberia nightclub a few times, which that name is now changed, okay, called Carnival Lounge.
Yeah.
But they had a Russian restaurant component, and that's moved elsewhere, hasn't it?
Yes, somehow or another, Siberia moved to St. Bernard. And I thought it would be nice today to have some maybe anti-holiday ideas, because maybe not everybody's looking forward to Thursday. And so I wanted to give you some ideas if you just wanted to get out of that mindset. And the Green Room Kukanya, which that's Russian for kitchen, there is some delicious food going on over there, like Russian-style deviled eggs with caviar, and of course there's blinis and borscht and pierogi, and lots of other delicious, unpronounceable things. But there's also great American comfort food. Check out that Killer Reuben. There's a whole sampler selection of their Russian dishes. And there's incredible things. There's Slavic sodas. Who knew there was such a thing? Like non-alcoholic beer made with rye and raisins, and a green Georgian lemonade with tarragon. So anyway, they've moved, and they're right there on St. Bernard. They're open for dinner. They're closed Tuesdays, but other than that, they're open from 4 until 10 p.m. And if you really want something different, you cannot be sad if you go to Liz's Where Ya At Diner. It's in Mandeville, and it's one of the happiest places on earth. There's Liz Munson herself, and she is just like an old hippy-dippy from way back, that girl. She's all about peace, love, and happiness and delicious food. She's open breakfast, lunch, and dinner some days, and she has 11 Benedicts on her menu, including crab and chicken and pork and filet, but also, how about that Where Yat tuna with avocado and pineapple salsa over rice pilaf? Oh my gosh, I've never had a better sandwich than a crab meat grilled cheese with a little cup of tomato basil soup. She recently acquired the back building, so Liz's back porch, where she also has daiquiris and sliders. There's lots and lots of outdoor seating. And she's open 7 days a week, Thursday until Saturday. She's open till 8 p.m. She's really a great reason to drive across that causeway if you live on the South Shore. And I promise you will leave Liz's Where You At Diner happy.
Thank you so much, Poppy. And moving across town back to New Orleans and the CBD area, and adding new meaning to alfresco dining, huh?
That's right. About parklets, which is a new idea, a new word for something that I think people haven't intuited the idea for. This is outdoor dining, an expansion of outdoor dining, and it's one that takes over a portion of the streets, namely the parking lane. People who've been to Europe are familiar with this. They've seen these sort of creative shared uses for public space in many, many old cities with vibrant street scenes. Well, since the pandemic erupted, many cities in America have adopted this tactic as well, just to give restaurants a fighting chance. New York saw these bloom everywhere over the spring and summer. Well, in New Orleans, the first examples are emerging in the CBD. We have got a few examples that just set up shop. This is the Pythian market here. As you can see, this is the parking lane. This is normally where you pull in a car, put some money in the meter, go inside and eat at the Pythian market food court. Now they have it blocked off. They have lights, tables, little sanctions. A few other places around town that have them: Juan's Flying Burrito on Baronne Street and the Ruby Slipper Cafe on Magazine Street. Expect to see more of these. One reason why they haven't cropped up sooner is because city officials tell me they spent some time working these measures into the city codes. So they serve an emergency purpose now to just get people outside and expand the dining options for restaurants that are struggling. But also, the city is working them in to be a permanent part of the way that businesses can interact with the outside and use their outdoor space. This is the pilot program right now, which is where you see only a few examples at the moment, but more are coming, more are in the works as we speak. And city planners are excited about it because they want to find ways to make the city more pedestrian friendly and more vibrant on the streets. And the restaurant people I've talked to say, this is a lifeline for us now. We're struggling to make enough money with our indoor seating. Everyone wants outdoor seating because it's far safer. And also, this just shows more vibrancy. People see people outside drinking, eating, having a good time. Maybe you pull that car over and join them. So look for these parklets. It's an idea that's catching on in New Orleans, and I think it has some great potential here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And moving over to Doug this was quite a week for news about the pending 2021 carnival season.
It's true. It was just Tuesday that we found out the city acknowledged that parades wouldn't be possible because of the coronavirus contagion. It's feared that the past Mardi Gras was a super spreader, and they don't want to repeat. So immediately I began trying to cover what the crews might do as alternatives to parading. Some of them already had plans in the works, and one a great example is the Krewe du Vieux, which takes place in the Marigny French Quarter early in the season. This year it would have been on January 30th, and I spoke to Captain Sebastian Bogerhausen, and he explained what their strategy was going to be. He said the worst part for them was that their crew creates their whole parade. They make their mini floats, they make their costumes, they make their throws. So this was going to be they were going to be robbed of all of that artistic expression. Well, they didn't want to be, and so what they've decided to do is that each of their individual sub-crews is going to do some sort of public display or demonstration. Now, what form that's going to take could be anything from decorating your house, as he said, go right over the top with your decorations for Krewe du Vieux. Everything from that to maybe doing a canned food drive. It's up in the air, but I predict that we're going to see some interesting things emerge. Same with Chewbacchus. Chewbacchus, the science fiction parade, it's downtown, it's early in the season, but one of the things that characterizes Chewbacchus is their handmade throws that they pass out along the route. Each marcher makes their own carnival throws, and they didn't want to give that up. So the strategy that they're going to take is they're not going to have a parade, but they may have sort of a large-scale scavenger hunt where they will provide clues, and you can go out in social distanced safety and find the little throws that you might have gotten at the parade. There's going to be more of that. Gosh, already there's a Facebook page, the Krewe of House Floats, where encouraging people to decorate. The Krewe of Krampus, the Christmas parade on December 5th is doing they're doing a drive-through parade, sort of parade in quotes, of course. The Funky Uptown Crew, which is a streetcar-based crew, is going to do a scavenger hunt. And I think we're going to see more. We're going to see more before the beginning of next week.
Now, you just recently, the Society of St. Anne, tell us about their status.
Yeah, just got word that the Society of St. Anne, which is a great, wonderful do-it-yourself sort of parade on Mardi Gras morning, has decided not to parade at all. And that was a question mark. Of course, the city has said there won't be parades. But the Society of St. Anne parade is such a sort of ad hoc volunteer thing.
More of a procession, kind of more of a procession, don't you think? Yeah.
People just drift in and become part of the parade. So it was interesting to hear from them that they are not going to they're not going to entertain that possibility this year either.
I'm so sorry to hear that, because I'm used to see them sort of snake through the quarter, with these wonderful costumes. So it's going to be a different carnival.
Gosh, there's a part of me that's sad about it all, and yet I'm relieved too. Don't have to face that.
Right. Okay. Thank you. And moving over to Alan with some more theater updates locally.
Yeah, well, right after Steppin' Out on the Noller Theater Talk Show, we're going to have some very interesting guests. I mentioned earlier Maxwell Williams. He's going to be on the show to talk about Le Petit as the artistic director. And also on hand, besides Maxwell, will be Clint Johnson, who just won the Big Easy Best Actor in a Musical Award. So he won that for Cabaret, of course. And those of you who caught it, last week we had Chris Ventavenia, who was on as well. We're wishing him good luck and success with his recovery. Meanwhile, let's go on and talk about the Nice List. That's a group of Broadway performers who are going to be performing for free. You'll be able to see Santa in all of his glory coming up. James Monroe Iglehart is the guy who's going to be doing that. He's going to be performing along with Telly Leung and then Julia Madison on the Nice List. And again, that's going to be streaming on YouTube for free as of December the 1st. And those of you who have been watching faithfully the Seth Rudetsky concert series, this week's star is going to be the fantastic Adam Pascal. The name may sound familiar, Peggy. He was the Tony nominee, Obie, and Theater World Award winner for some of the more memorable roles in Broadway history, including that of the originator of Roger in the Broadway blockbuster Rent. He also originated the role of Radames in Elton John and Tim Rice's Aida. He was recently featured in Disaster, the Seth Rudetsky musical that he wrote with his husband, James Wesley. So you'll see all of that coming up on the Seth Rudetsky concert series. That'll be November the 22nd and the 23rd at 2 o'clock. A lot of really interesting, great performers on that show, and we hope that people will continue to tune in on that one.
Okay, Alan, thank you so much. We're about to do our picks of the week, but in addition to that, since we are, of course, looking forward to Thanksgiving, we want to also go around and just talk about, apart, of course, from family and friends, what we are thankful for. So, Poppy, you're up first.
Well, Peggy, I'm thankful to be alive these days, but I'm also grateful to live in this wonderful food city that spawns efforts like Devin DeWolf and the crew of Red Beans, the amazing work of the Chef's Brigade. I'm just grateful to be a New Orleanian.
Yes, and you got your pick of the week?
My pick of the week, for the first time ever, Emeril's famous banana cream pie is available for Thanksgiving. You can order it from Merrill's Market, and you order it by this Sunday, so you've got time to pick up Tuesday or Wednesday. The rest of their Thanksgiving menu is available too, including a 16-ounce old-fashioned for $20.
Oh my goodness.
I think you're supposed to share it, but.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. You need to share. Thank you. Ian.
I'm grateful for New Orleans people and the way they understand how much of the character and values of our community flow through our restaurants, and that they're willing to fight for them now that they're truly on the ropes in this crisis.
And your
pick of the week is Paco's Tacos, which there's a lot of taco places out there now, a lot of new places, but this one really hit the money. Great, just legit Mexican-style taqueria, awesome salsa bar. I could tell you a lot of landmarks for where it is on Vets, but the easiest one is this. It's next to Hooters.
Okay. Thank you. Doug.
What I'm thankful for is similar to the others. We've lost Carnival, but there's a silver lining. This is a city of geniuses, and somebody's going to do something brilliant that we're going to remember for all time to come.
Okay, and your pick.
And my pick of the week is there's a brand new sculpture still being finished by William Nemitoff. This is on the Lafitte Parkway near Jeff Davis, and it is a tribute to an artist who has passed away, Debbie Ravitch Vorhoff, and it's just wonderful. The leaves at the bottom are benches.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Alan.
Peggy, well, I'm grateful for the nearly 400 people who have joined my online Facebook community, NOLA Theater Folk Facebook. You know, it's amazing. I started this thing at the beginning of April, and they've been so supportive. Actors and directors and playwrights. We put on our own original plays, and we continue to make progress in that way. And I'm just so happy to be connected to the New Orleans theater community during this very difficult time.
Congratulations. Yeah, your pick.
And meanwhile, my pick is Southern Reps pop-up play. They just started this up. They're going to do it every month, once a month, a socially distanced live play. And keep that in mind as we move towards the new season. And Peggy, guess what? I'll see you at the theater.
Thank you so much. And now my pick, shop for Christmas or for yourself at the Tennessee Williams and New Orleans Literary Festival online auction. It's called a menagerie of holiday gifts now until December 5th. A one-night stay in the Tennessee Williams suite at the Montleon, dinner or lunch at Mandina's, and lunch with me and my husband Emeril at Ralph's in the Park. That's just a few of the items to bid on. Go to TennesseeWilliams.net for the link, or go to the address that you see on your screen at BidPal. And we thank you all very much. Thank you, my pals, and thank you so much. Goodbye, and thanks for watching. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Support for Steppin Out comes in part from the Kristovich family in honor of Mary Lou and Bill Kristovich. This program is sponsored in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support the arts and culture in the greater New Orleans area.